Okay, everybody, we're restarting. Hopefully this is going to improve the ability for you to view this. And I'm just going to repeat a few things that I talked about previously. Try not to bore you too much. Are we any better? Can you tell?
Let's give it a minute for people to get on. I think
right.
So far we just have one person on, two people. So let's give people a minute to get on, I think.
Sounds good.
And then hopefully it's working.
All right.
Trying to chat with all of our people across the country to see if they're able to get on and see everything. So looks like we're at 44. Barbara says she can hear you and me. So
all right,
let's start in and see what happens.
Well, I want to talk to you again about the current month's project for So Confident, April's project. And we are using the whistle shirt again for the second month, which is what we do in So Confident. This is the whistle shirt if you were to take it out of the envelope and make it. It has some extensions or flanges on the front, a couple on the back. So it does have a diagonal seam on the back and a diagonal seam on the front, both of which we've eliminated to make it a little more into a standard shirt shape without those diagonal lines. We're using this wonderful striped fabric. This is one colorway of kits. And even though the shape of the garment is exactly the same and the fit and all of that, we've added a diagonal line here to create this miter. So these stripes form a little bit of an L. And then we have some side panels that we've added that also have miters at the side seam, divided by some baby piping in a contrasting cotton, which is also used for the undercollar and the cuff, and a little button patch right here. So this is one colorway. This is called Sunburst. We are busy filling orders today for the orders that came in over the weekend. And this is the other colorway. This is wine, and lots of berry colors, as I call it, from fuchsia to pink, dusty pink to garnet and wine and burgundy, and it's really a luscious series of colors. This has a different contrast print for where we've used the print under collar, button patch, piping, and cuff. So hope you will sign up for the class. If you are a yearly So Confident member, you received all of your information on Saturday. It's a fairly lengthy document that has a lot of processes to it. And Friday, April 7th, you will get your video. So get your pattern out. Obviously, if you are a member and a yearly member and you worked the project last month, you have your fit down. So now it's about changing the details of this garment, and you would have time to do that before the video comes out on Friday, which is quite a bit about the construction of this garment and how to sew miters and match stripes and all that stuff. All right, are we okay?
Well, we do have some people still having issues, but it doesn't seem to be across the board. Some people are fine, some people are having flashing, and so we're thinking it's Facebook.
Okay.
Some people can get it on their phones, others not. So
okay. Well, we're going to carry on.
Carry on, and then we'll post it after we're done.
Yes, this will be posted on our website and also on YouTube.
Right.
So there's lots of ways to watch this that won't be so disruptive and annoying. So, all right. So I do have a really, is Alex not happening there?
She's having trouble too. She had to reinstall her app, and so there's some fun things going on today.
I'm going to go ahead and talk about what Alex was going to talk about from Cleveland. Alex filmed a class for Sulky of America, and it's called the Chateau Coat Made in Scuba. You can sign up for the class. The class actually is a video cast by Sulky on April 11th at 1 p.m. Boy, that's just coming right up, isn't it? April 11th. Is that like Monday or Tuesday next week, something like that? So you can watch the video cast of how to make the Chateau coat in scuba. And then they also are offering kits, a couple of colors of scuba fabric with some great thread colors. Of course, they're known for their decorative threads and beautiful threads, so part of the kit is those kinds of threads. The class, I think, is about $5.99, so you can sign up on sulky.com for that, and then order your kit and get ready to make a Chateau coat. If Alex is able to get on, we'll get her on and she can talk more about it.
And she did say she's going to do her own Facebook Live after this.
Okay.
On the Sewing Workshop account.
Great.
So watch for that. So hopefully it'll be a little smoother.
Okay, that sounds great. All right. Well, we have I think, something very exciting to tell you about. We actually invested in the ability to print digital patterns. And we also have determined that we have a paper that we really like, which is transparent. It's like vellum. So here is, for example, a printout on the vellum of the Chesney Pants, which is one of the designs that we're going to talk about today, actually. So this is how it would come to you. And we're just really excited about this. So we're launching this ability today. We've been working on this for quite a while, and we're very happy with it. We know that there's been some frustrations of printing services. I'm sure the sound of that is not fun to listen to while I'm trying to talk. All right. Anyway, we know that there's been some frustrations in shipping time and shipping costs and whatever, mostly timing, I think it's been. So we have, I think Erin's going to really talk to you about the deal on this at the end of the Facebook Live here. But generally, if you order a digital only, a pattern that's available only as a digital download, you're going to have the option of having us print it for you and send it to you. Now, of course, when you buy the digital pattern, you already get the instructions. So you can print those off yourself. But we will send you the vellum printed pattern if you choose to. You know, it's interesting about this whole digital world. There are those who are all in for digital and those who are not. And we get that. And I'm kind of one of these people that still really likes to work with a transparent tissue type pattern. I'm just old-fashioned. So we now can do that for you. And so we have a deal that Erin will tell you about later for if you order the Chesney digital pattern today, you're going to get kind of a special and all of that. But just know that if a pattern is available as digital only, you're going to have that ability to order it from us digitally, as a printed pattern. Okay, so big deal for us. One other thing that I was sewing over the weekend, actually, and I remember when I wrote a book years ago, it was a book about pillows, actually, but one of the photos that was in the book, a photographer from New York came to Topeka, came to my studio, and I used to have this grid above my sewing machine, and it's where I hung my scissors. And I lost count on how many scissors I have. I mean, it was kind of ridiculous, really, from trimming scissors to snips to large shears to whatever. And for a long time, I was using a brand, Kai, K-A-I. And a while back, I ordered some scissors from LDH Scissors. They're out of Canada. And we had some, and we sold them, and that was kind of the end of that. And then I found my pair at home, and I used it over the weekend. And I'm here to tell you that these are the smoothest, most beautiful scissors I have ever worked with. And so I ordered them again. They just came in. The regular 9-inch scissors, which is what I like, are on the website now. This is a special edition that's all black. That, I could get them in other colors, whatever, but I don't know. There was just something about great black scissors that I really liked. So I hope you'll try them. I use them not so much to cut out my garment or my pattern, but I love trimming with these. I get a nice smooth cut, long cuts, not choppy. I do my clipping with it. I don't know, they've almost replaced all of my trimming scissors, that's not exactly true, but pretty much. So then, in the course of ordering those, I decided I would try their pinking shears because I have trouble with pinking shears. They're either too clunky, too hard to move. I don't know, something's always wrong with them. And so we got these in. Now, these are not on the website yet, but Betsy will work on that, and they'll be on the website soon. But these are in a really fun color. And I experimented with these, and these are also the most beautiful, smooth cutting pinking shears I've ever worked with. So I'm going to be ordering more of these, I hope, well, depending on if I sell the first batch. But anyway, hope you'll check it out. LDH Scissors, and family-owned business out of Canada. All right, so today we're talking about Hugo tops. You know, it's going to be 88 degrees here in Kansas, which, you know, last week it was 19. So you never know, but it gets us in the mood of thinking about a different wardrobe. I've already made the shift from my winter to my summer to whatever, and I'm beginning to weed out the heavier clothes. And I'm thinking about things that are cooler and looser and getting ready for spring and summer. And the Hugo top comes to mind. So Erin's going to talk more about the Hugo top. I'm going to go behind the camera. She's going to show you what to wear your Hugo top with. She's going to talk about maybe what you wear over it a little bit, if you can lengthen it or not lengthen it, and then we're going to talk about fabric. So, okay.
Switch. Okay, hello. Hope everyone's doing okay, and you can see us and hear us, and that your connection is doing better. So the Hugo top. I'm wearing the Hugo top in a purple, a beautiful eggplant noil. And then I have the Chesney Pants in a floral. This was a silk and cotton, and it's lined, and it's just really, really, really comfortable. Perfect for it, you know, the weather, the temperature rising. So it feels really good. But like Linda said, it is getting warmer here, and so the Hugo was perfect. I actually had a long sleeve top on earlier today, and putting this on, I was like, okay, this is better. This is better for spring, this is better for the temperature, and it just feels really good. It's comfortable, it's loose, so it is perfect for spring. So I'm going to pull out a couple different Hugos that we have made. So I love this one. I mean, talk about spring. Here is a lemon print Hugo. It's just very, very sweet, nice, lightweight. So the Hugo top, I'm going to get into some of these details here. Do you want me to get a little closer? So the Hugo top has a hidden placket, hidden button front placket. It has, I believe, three buttons here, and then it has a loop with an added button here for the loop, and it has a facing to finish off the neckline beautifully. It has a nice kind of boxy feel to it, and then it has the sleeve facing to finish it off there, narrow hems, and then a vent at each side seam. So very flowy, very comfortable. You can wear it, you know, in the office. Sometimes it's a little chilly, the air conditioning's on, so you can wear it with a jacket if you get a little chilly. This is the Tremont jacket in a double-sided knit. That's really fun. So it works really well over the Tremont because the Hugo has a nice kind of flat neckline here, so it works well with a lot of different jackets on the top. It works with the Tremont. It also works really well with the Chicago. This is one of my favorite Chicagos, and a Ponte knit. And then here's another Hugo. This is a stripe cotton, similar to the stripe that we had for the whistles for one of our recent So Confident projects. So this is a really fun cotton stripe, makes it a little bit more structured, not as flowy, but I think it's still perfect for spring.
Why don't you show the inside of that placket? It's a little less complicated of a print.
I was thinking the same.
And I might be able to see it a little bit better.
Same thing.
Because it's a really interesting double
it is tricky.
hidden placket. There you go.
And you see the stitching on the hidden placket there.
Yeah.
You can see the facing on the inside that finishes off the back neckline and the front neckline. And the 3 buttons and then the button loop.
Yeah.
And then another great thing about using a stripe for the Hugo is you can turn your stripes like we did here on the sleeve. So you can have them go in a different direction. And even if you wanted to do that on the facing in the placket, you could do that as well. So you could turn, you could use that with prints, you can do that with your stripes. I think you can have a lot of fun with the facing and with the placket and with the sleeve. So that's a really fun one. Another thing you can do with the Hugo, I love dresses, especially this time of year, spring, summer. You can lengthen the Hugo into a beautiful dress. Linda did this on a Facebook Live in 2020. She lengthened the Hugo into, I think it's, yeah, just above the knee in this beautiful print. Pretty easy transition into the dress. You just need to go to the lengthening and shortening lines on the pattern and lengthen it to your desired length. I think it would be great even longer as a midi dress, as a maxi dress, but this one happens to be just above the knee. So I think it'd be an easy transition to go from the top to the dress. And that was a Facebook Live. I actually wrote that down when it was. June 9th of 2020 is when we did this on Facebook Live. And actually back to this lemon dress, since I was looking up dates, we did this one for matching prints on Facebook Live as well in 2020. We must have really been into the Hugo that year. So Linda worked with matching prints on this one on July 1st of 2020. That summer, we were really into it. So those are some different ways that you can wear the Hugo, different fabrics you can use for the Hugo.
So what pants do you have on?
Well, the pants I have on, yes. So I
guess you said that, didn't you? I was busy watching whatever somebody's saying, and I forgot what you said.
It's distracting, yeah. So I am wearing the Hugo with the Chesneys. The Chesneys are a straight leg pant with our signature pocket that stems from the West End pant. And yeah, straight leg, wearing it in a print, really comfortable, really lightweight, just perfect for spring. And so we have done a couple different Chesneys that are really fun. It's a quick and easy pattern to make, which is, my kind of pattern. But if you wanted it to be a little, add a little flair to it, you can divide it up and make it in multiple fabrics and put a seam down the center front, put a seam down the center back, and use 3 different fabrics to make a fun pair of Chesneys.
You have to show what we put that with.
That's
because
true.
that was pretty out there, but we're always looking at
We like to be out there sometimes.
things that all these mixed prints that we see and all these designer lines, and the picture of you that's in the compendium in this outfit is fantastic. Yeah.
It's really fun. It was in a great backyard. It was just,
Yeah.
it was fantastic. So we decided for this one to use the Eureka. The Eureka pattern is traditionally a knit pattern, but we've made it in lightweight knits, heavyweight knits. We've also used wovens, especially really great drapey printed wovens. That seems to be what we love to make the Eureka in when we go to wovens. And so this is a fun parrot print. I love these little guys. I love fabrics with birds on them. I don't want the birds near me, but I love fabrics with the birds on them.
I was just looking at this a minute from afar. They have similar sleeves, the sleeve bands. I suppose you could transpose the Hugo neckline to the Eureka if you like the way the Eureka fits.
True, if you think
Or
it's a
vice
little
versa,
different.
you could take the Hugo and transpose the sleeves and the width and all of that onto that. Anyway, just a little side note.
That's true. Because I do feel a little different in the fit when you have them on. I feel like there's a little more room.
Right.
And it's
True.
And it's longer here and through the arm. It's a little more close fitting on the Hugo. I feel like there's I love that it feels a little more fitted in the bust for the Hugo, I think, over the Eureka. But if you needed a little bit more room in the bust, a little more room in the arms, I think it would be a great idea to use the Eureka pattern and put the neckline on it. And this is in a compendium that we have. This is was in series, let's see, I wrote that one down too. Series 9, we did the compendium with all of these great Chesney pants, and this was one of them, and I'm going to show you some of the other ones that we did. In that compendium, we also had this pair of Chesney pants in this really fun geometric print. We had it paired with a no-toe tee. Again, here's those great pockets. Maybe you can see it a little bit better. Elastic waist, just elastic all the way around the pocket, straight leg, in a drapey fabric. And these are my favorite. So this is a flared, we altered it so the leg was flared, added a pin tuck in the front, and made the hems different. So the front hem is shorter than the back hem, and then we kept the edges raw at the bottom. Left off the pocket just to keep it simple. I think sometimes you want to leave off a pocket. Maybe you just want it to be nice and flat across your hips. Maybe you just want it to be a little easier. That was probably the reason here. So this one's just nice and simple at the top, but we did add those other details, which I think make it fun. And it's a French terry, which is really comfortable. These were my, since this was in 2020, these are my COVID pants. You know, everybody was making, you know, their matching sets and the French terries and the sweatshirt material and everything. These were my comfy COVID pants. But you can be stylish and comfy at the same time. And actually the ones I have on as well, the Chesneys that I have on were also in that same compendium. So you can see all those different compendiums, plus a silk pair that Linda made. You can see all of those in that compendium, and you can get that tutorial all together. And I think it's just Chesney Compendium, 3rd quarter.
So when you order that, what happens? Does it go into your account as a like magazine kind of thing?
Right. So there's 2 different, it's going to go into your account once you purchase it. You can go to your order history and find that order, and you can open, there's 2 different files. There's going to be a landscape file, and then there's going to be a portrait file. And they're beautiful. I mean, the photography in these magazines is amazing. The way Betsy put these together with different fabric inspirations and interior inspirations, and then the projects and the photography, they're really beautiful compendiums, and I highly recommend them.
And you can print them off and you can put them into a little binder. And
yep, you can print them off if you want to keep them. A lot of people like to keep all their So Confident, all the printed materials that we have for So Confident. They like to keep them in binders, or you can print them off like this. This is the portrait version.
There's always, Betsy's done some great other things in the compendiums too, other stories about designers and interesting topics. So it's quite a nice magazine, and it has the techniques that you need.
So techniques, details about fabric, details about notions. Here's the block print, pants.
So how does the leg width compare the Chesneys to the West Ends?
The Chesneys are more of a straight leg, so they're going to be narrower than the West Ends. The West Ends are wide leg pant, and so they're the widest leg pattern that we have. I don't know the exact measurement. But
it's the same pocket, same elastic.
Yes.
It's not the same crotch shape.
No, it's not. I'd say the Chesneys is more fitted in the hips. There's more room in the West Ends in the hip area.
Okay.
And a little higher waist. The West End has a little higher waist than the Chesneys.
Okay.
Okay. What else are we talking about today?
Well, we've got some.
All right, we have a few tips on the Chesney. that'll make the project just a little easier for
Actually, the
you.
Hugo.
The Hugo. Hugos. We were just talking about the Chesneys, but now we're going to move back onto the Hugo. So the Hugo, again, has this great loop at the top. So it has this narrow loop at the top for your button. And in the pattern, we talk about using a larger needle and thread to create that loop, to turn it back to the right side. But one of the tools that we love, and Linda just talked about this a couple weeks ago, is using a bodkin. And it just makes the process of creating that loop so much easier. So we highly recommend doing a loop. And if you want to go back, we do have a couple different Facebook Lives talking about bodkins. And so if you want to take a look a couple weeks back, and also on our index, we do talk about bodkins quite often. And another thing to point out is the buttons. So there's two different types of buttons on these Hugos that we recommend. So on the inside, on the hidden placket, we recommend using 3 flat buttons. See that there? Since it's a hidden placket, and since this right side is going to come over on top, we recommend using flat buttons. But then on shank, you can use a flat button here, but we recommend using a shank button for the loop. It's just a little bit easier to get that loop around it, a little more secure that way. And plus, sometimes it's hard to find uses for those cool shank buttons that you have, so you might as well use it for a project like this. And then on the side seam, this one might be a little different. So on the side seam, it has vents. Each side seam has a vent. And when you're creating the side seams, first you want to finish the raw edges separately. Then you're going to stitch your side seam, and then you're going to press that seam open. Let's see if I can show this here. Might be hard with the stripe. You see that side seam? So you serge it, press it, or serge it, stitch it, and then press it open. And then you're just going to continue that pressing down to the vent. So from the top of the vent down to the hemline, you're just going to continue that pressing down to the hemline. And that's how you create your vent. It's an easy way to make a vent on a garment. And then, let's keep hold of this. One thing that we do in this project, and a lot of projects, is that it's a step that sometimes people tend to skip, is understitching. I think that sometimes you just see that and you're like, oh, it's fine, I don't need to do that part. But I think understitching is what gives a neckline like this a really clean edge. It keeps that seam allowance in place, keeps it down, so it's not gonna, fold up on you when you're wearing it. And I think it just gives it a pristine edge, clean, professional. So this understitching is done right here on the facing. And that's the step that we recommend that you don't skip that step. So those are a few of the tips that we have for the Hugo top. And it just makes a cute, fun spring.
So do you think that the sleeve could be lengthened to elbow length or just above the elbow?
I think this is a sleeve that you just want to keep as is. It would be very tricky it's not a traditional sleeve, so I think it'd be really tricky to lengthen it. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I agree with that because of the shape of it. Now, I'm not saying it can't be done. I've not seen it done. I've not tried it. Maybe someone has. Mm-hmm. But it just strikes me that it's not going to hang well because it's basically coming out of the arm's eye horizontally instead of vertically, if that makes sense.
And I think there's just not as much room. Like we've done it on the Eureka. Yes. But there is a lot more room on the Eureka. You're using a knit. So I think the transition, and even in the Eureka, you have to change the shape in order to accommodate a longer sleeve. So if you're making a woven garment that's a lot more fitted in through the bust and a lot more fitted in through the arm, I wouldn't recommend it.
I think you could possibly lengthen that band another inch, maybe, but that would maybe be about the extent of it for me.
Any other
we get that question a lot, actually.
Are there any other questions?
Not yet. I'm reading them off as they're going along.
All right. Well, we could dive into the fabrics.
Yep, let's do that.
Okay. Let's try this out of the way. Okay. So the fabric that we're really highlighting today is the noil, like I have on here. I think you could make the Hugo top or a lot of different woven tops, but you could also do it on the bottom. I think you could make pants out of this fabric. So you could do, whether it's solid on the top, solid on the bottom, and print on the top, print on the bottom. I think you can mix and match there.
So what don't we think of noil as silk noil?
True. So we traditionally think of silk noil, but this is a rayon linen noil. It has a very soft feel to it. The hand is very soft. It's very drapey. Silk noil, I don't traditionally think it as being quite this drapey. It just has a nice drape to it. So we've picked out some different, we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 different noils. And so we picked out 6 different prints to go with these. And I really feel like these can all be interchanged for the most part. You can mix and match one print, even though maybe this one we paired with a black. I think you can mix it up and use the purple as well. So there's a lot of prints that cross over to different solids here. So
let's go back to the noil a minute. Because noil relates to these short staples, that creates a texture that has there is quite a bit of texture to this fabric, a nubby texture, and that really is what this word noil implies. Someone's saying, isn't noil a see-through? And I don't know of noil as a see-through. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I've never seen that. So there was part of the question. It's an opaque fabric, I think.
Yeah, most of the ones all the ones I've seen are. And I don't know if maybe I could take this down so you could see the texture.
Yeah, I don't know if we can see it. We'll try. This is a gorgeous. What is this called? Plum or something?
I would call it plum or eggplant. Plum.
Plum. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can see. Yeah, there. Yeah. By golly, we can see that. It does show the texture. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's always nice with a solid fabric to have a little bit of texture to it. It adds a little interest, and you can see how drapey it is.
So someone is asking, Meg's asking if you can use the noil for pants.
I think you could use the noil for pants, definitely.
And do you find it easy to sew, easy to cut out? Is it hard? How's the sewing? What's the level of skill and frustration on silk noil?
I thought it was very easy to sew. I didn't have any trouble with it whatsoever. Light steam. This was a long time ago, but I would use probably a 70 needle and cotton thread. And so I didn't have any trouble whatsoever with it.
Yeah, that texture gives it kind of a grip. So it's not sliding around like other silks and so forth. Okay.
So the plum solid here looks really great with this print. I just think that's a fantastic print. It has teal and turquoise and green and purple all throughout this print. I think that's a really fantastic, that is a viscose challis called Teal Hydrangea Floral. And I think that's really fun. And again, I think it can go with the plum, it can go with this blue here, it could even go with the green. You could put it with black, of course, because you can put a lot with black, but we are choosing to put it with the purple. And then this print is really fun. I think I might have to get this one out. Maybe you can see it a little better here. This also goes with the plum, but this is a really fun abstract text floral print. It just has so many different parts and pieces to it. I think it's really fantastic. This is also a viscose, very drapey. Definitely could do the Hugo, or it could do pants as well. It has a really good weight to it for pants. I think it would feel really good has that weight, that drapey weight to it. I think that'd be really nice with the Hugo, and you wouldn't have to worry about lining or anything like that.
And I don't think I'd worry about where you cut that out too much.
No.
You know, don't get crazy about it. Just sort of lay it out.
Right.
Let
I
it
think
happen.
so. Let it happen. So you might have like a bowl, like if you're doing pants, you could have a floral on one side and more text on the other, which I think will be really fun. I think it might make you crazy if you tried to match it too much. So I would just let that one, would go with that one. And then this beautiful orange is really fun.
It's not as orange in real life as it is on the screen. It's more, it's a deeper.
It's very rich. It's very rich. It's definitely, we call it rust, but I definitely think it does have that orange flavor to it, but it's so rich. It's beautiful. It's a really nice orange that I think a lot of people can wear. And it goes beautiful with this print. It even looks nice with this print here. This floral over here, even the floral on top. So I think it can go with a lot of different things. And then this print is really, really interesting. This is another viscose. I think a lot of these are viscose. This will be great in both the top and the bottom. And we were talking about this, trying to decide how you would cut this out. But I think you would cut it out using this print as a border. I'm gonna get this one out so you can really see how beautiful that is.
The borders are two different widths. So you could cut the pants out on the cross grain, and depending on your height, you could either use the narrow one or the wide one at the bottom. If you're shorter, like I would use the shorter one. Yeah, let me get back so I can see that.
Oh, look at that with the purple.
Yeah.
That's stunning. And that, of course, looks really good with the black noil here at the bottom. And then over on this side, we have this floral print, which is really fun with a mustard background and coral and teal and white. And I guess that's coral there as well, kind of a darker coral. It's a cotton lawn. I think that's really fun. That has a nice weight to it.
Yeah, that word lawn is a little deceptive there. You know, we think of lawn as really almost sheer and lightweight, but that's really not.
No, this one's not, it's not sheer. I think it has a good spring weight to it. I like that one a lot. And it looks really good with this blue, dark teal is what we're calling that one. I think that gives it a nice contrast. I think that's a fun pop. But if you're wanting to do a little more kind of tone on tone, I think this is a really nice option. I really like this one myself. This is a viscose crepe, so this does have a little bit of a texture to it. Let you see this a little bit more. So a dark blue in the background, more of a navy with your burgundy and teal and turquoise and coral and rust. So again, this one can go with most of the solids here. And I think that's really nice. And then it also goes with the wine. The wine's really nice. And then this one's really interesting. This is actually a cotton, which we were surprised about. Is it just 100% cotton? Yeah, 100% cotton poplin. But it has a really nice weight. It doesn't feel as lightweight as a traditional cotton poplin.
Has a little bit of a finish to it. A little bit
more
of
a
satin type finish. It's really gorgeous.
Yeah, that is just stunning. This one, you need some of this, Linda.
Yeah, that's
colors.
That's speaking to me.
That'd be beautiful. It'd be beautiful with the green at the bottom. The split pea. It's a lovely name.
Yeah.
Looks good with that. I also think it looks really good with the rust, the black. Even, I love the way it looks with this wine. I think that's really nice. It kind of brings out, there is some touches of purple and wine. Of course, the orange and the lime green. So there's a lot of different colors that you can really pick up. There's that wine again. And black, navy. There's a lot of great colors in there.
What is the name of the blue one?
This blue one is Night Sky and Burgundy Feathers.
Night Sky and Burgundy Feathers.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the width of the two at the top?
So this one is 55 wide, and then this one looks 55 wide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So wider than you'd think.
Yeah, they do come rolled differently, but they come from England. I think the one on the right comes from England. I'm pretty sure it does. I know the left one does. So then someone wants to see the that one a little bit more rolled out. So if you could pull that out.
This one has a couple pins. Hold on.
The cameraman is not doing a very good job today.
You're doing great.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this one.
There you go.
This one's definitely worth it to see
amazing.
all the way out.
Yeah.
Oh, I love just the contrast between these really soft brush strokes here.
Well, I love the writing on it too, and I of course don't know what it says, but probably something French. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
We had some questions back about patterns. You want to deal with that?
The digital patterns?
No. About would you do an FBA on the Hugo?
Would you do a full bust adjustment on the Hugo? Yes, I think you could do a full bust adjustment on the Hugo.
What I think is we have in our fitting encyclopedia a method of adding bust fullness without a dart. Mm-hmm. And you might want to take a look at that. Although a dart would be fine on this, I think it would be smoother if it didn't have a dart.
I think so. I think, it could break it up a little bit more than you'd like if you
kind of depends on the fabric.
A dart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But in something like this, I don't think that you would want to have a dart.
Right. Like but you could do the fullness without the dart.
Right. Right.
And then a question about comparing the Chesneys to the Valencias.
Okay.
First of all, Valencias don't have a side seam.
Right, the Valencias don't have a side seam. That is flat across the front, and then it has elastic around the back. So there's a difference there because the Chesneys are elastic all the way around. Let's pick out one.
And leg width, we don't have a pair of Valencias here. I would venture to say that the Chesneys are slightly narrower, but not much.
I think so. They might be quite similar. I think without measuring them, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. Chesneys have the pocket, while the Valencias don't have a pocket. And I think that there isn't as much room in the Valencia as in the hips. I'd say just because of the sides, not having a side seam, you don't have any shape there. But I think the fit's somewhat similar. So, and then the Valencias does have two different lengths. You can do a shorter length and a longer length, while the Chesneys are just cropped. Granted, you can change.
So if you want full length on the Chesneys, you do have to lengthen them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, Charlotte tapers her Chesneys 2 inches.
Oh, nice. That's a good idea.
At the hemline. So
that's a good idea because we're always searching for a little bit narrower of a woven pant. So that's a good place to start. I like that idea.
And then Laura's asking, what is special about the pocket? She's saying from the no-toe, but I think you mean Chesney. What is special about the pocket?
So the pocket is just one pattern piece. See if I can get it out here. So there's just a fold in the pattern in the piece instead of having two separate pattern pieces. So here is the pocket. So the fold is right here. It has a nice curved shape at the bottom, and here's your side seam, and then just tucks into the waist. And then it has a great curve on the outside with edge stitching to finish it off. I think it's a nice flat pocket. You know, you don't want to add bulk with your pockets. So I think it stays in place, it's nice, and it's flat. So since it's attached to the top and at the side seam, I think it gives a really good shape at your hip.
So this is a good question. Karen wants to know, for a curvy fit, Valencia or Chesney?
Okay, well, I think you can do both. I think you just have to know the size that you need. I know with my Valencias, I have to make a much bigger size in my Valencias than I do in, say, the West Ends, because there is a nice curved shape with the West Ends. Even with the Chesneys, there's a little bit of a curve. So there is more room for your hips in these patterns. So you just have to adjust your size. And for me, you know, I have to adjust it for my hips. I have to make sure my hips fit, and then I can go in at the waist to accommodate a smaller waist.
I want to comment about this, if I may, because I did a little experiment of the two styles on someone who was curvy. And logic would tell you that because the Chesney is curved, it would fit a curved body better. But when, as you say, the Valencias have the correct amount of ease, and because there's no side seam, then the whole side is straight up and down, and it makes a curvy person look straighter.
Straight up and down.
So
I think you can wear any of them.
Either one.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, if you get that fit in the hips and you get that correct fit in the waist for the Valencia, it does. It just, especially if you're making it in a really drapey, like heavy draped fabric, they look amazing. It's because it just drops directly from the waist down to the hem. So it is. Once you get over what size, like that was the biggest hurdle for me. I was like, I'm what? But once I got the fit and to where it needed to be, I was extremely happy with them. So.
you basically probably really only have to go up one size. But you have to be honest about your starting size.
True. That's
you can't cheat. Like some of our pants, people can make maybe a size smaller.
Right.
But not on the Valencias.
No.
Yeah, you want to make one size bigger than what you really need.
Than what you would think. Well, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So how wide is the noil?
The noil is 50 wide.
60?
50.
50.
50.
All right. A little bit narrower.
Guess so.
All right. That's all the questions so far.
Okay, I can dive into the digital patterns if we want to do that.
Okay.
So starting today, as Linda mentioned, we are offering the printing of our digital patterns. And we have two different ways that you can do that. So on each of our digital pattern products, you can add on the option to get that printed. There's the price associated with printing, and then the shipping, of course. And so you can do it on that digital product page. So kind of all at once when you purchase the pattern itself, or say you already own the ET, but you want to have it printed. We do have a separate product for that. So you can add to your cart digital pattern printing, and then it'll have a drop down on there as well that you can choose what your pattern is that you already own, and then we can print that for you and ship it to you. So those are the two different options. And this week we do have the special of if you buy the Chesney Pants pattern, because that is a digital only pattern. If you buy the Chesney Pants pattern this week, you do get a discount on the printing itself. So it's $5 off the printing, and plus the 15% off that we're giving for the purchase of the pattern. So that's the deal with the pattern printing. This is an introductory offer. We're testing it out, trying to see if it works, and kind of adjusting as necessary. So give us your feedback on what you think, and but we hope it's a great service for you. So, yeah. And I guess other sales that we're having today. So a sale on the Chesney Pants pattern, the Hugo top pattern, which is digital and printed, and then 15% off all the fabrics that are on the wall here. And what else do we have on sale?
Compendium.
The compendiums. So the Series 9, the Chesney Compendium, that is on sale, as well as the Hugo. And that one is Series 8. third quarter, and it talks all about the Hugo top. It talks about how to make good buttonholes, matching stripes, how to perfect the button placket, the hidden placket, and sewing the armbands. So it gives you an extensive tutorial on how to create the Hugo top. So, any other questions?
Someone wants to see the lime chartreuse print.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And is it opaque? And definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot thicker.
Janet wanted to make sure that it's opaque, and it is.
That is stunning, even for the wrong side.
And then the paper that the pattern is printed on, you probably didn't see that at the beginning.
Oh, true. So this is the paper. It's a vellum.
It's vellum, so it's...
There's that lovely sound. So it's vellum. So what's nice about it is it still has some weight to it, but you can see through it, which I think makes it more durable. It's going to last longer, but you can still take advantage of it being see-through. So you can make any pattern adjustments and additions to it.
So Sherry wants to know, will we be able to get patterns printed that are not digital only? I like the look of the vellum and would prefer to have that.
That's a good question. Right now we aren't offering that, mainly because we just figured people would buy the printed pattern. But that's a good comment that we can definitely talk about. So like I said, it's a good adjustment time for us to figure out what works for us, what works for the customers. So that's good to note.
But it's only going to happen on patterns that are available both as print and digital. If a pattern is available as a print pattern only, that's never going to be available for us to print for you.
True, exactly. So if it is just a print pattern right now, then no, we won't be able to print it for you because we're just not there yet with that pattern, so we don't have it available digitally. But if it is one that is a digital and print, you won't see that option right now, but that's definitely something we can talk about.
So here's a comment that's interesting. I'd love to see us use, love to see you use newsprint instead of vellum, easier to fold, so forth.
Okay.
We have another paper option, and it's not newsprint, but it's definitely lighter weight, and it's a good, nice paper. If you want that, you're going to have to call us, because that's not going to be what we do automatically. But we do have paper options.
But it's not a newsprint.
But it's not a newsprint.
No.
It's not, But anyway. But then other people love the vellum. It's so luxurious. I would love to print an existing pattern, the Picasso, that I already have on digital. So you might repeat that.
Right. So if you already own, say, the Picasso as a digital pattern, we do have a separate product where you can purchase the printing only. So it allows you, there's a drop-down menu, and it allows you to choose which digital pattern you already own. And then you can add the printing to your cart. And so then we would print and ship you that pattern.
And Betsy has just put a link on how to do that.
Perfect.
Here, so.
And it does come, just to clarify, it does come on a 36-inch wide paper, on 36-inch wide vellum. So it's 36 inches wide, and then the length of, however long that particular pattern is. So it's going to vary depending on what pattern it is.
Bonnie wants to know if we can offer the intro price for the Hugo digital too.
Well, we aren't currently, but you can buy the Hugo on sale as printed pattern already. Yeah, and it is on sale.
Okay, so far that's it for questions. Last call for questions, I guess.
Check my list, make sure we haven't forgotten anything.
Yeah, one of the things that Erin said, that this is a bit of an experiment for us, not so much about the doing of it, it's about whether we can handle it. Because we are busy, and we just want to make sure we don't get overwhelmed and we don't become a printing service only.
True.
But we'll see. This is why we're testing it here with a discount on one product only, and digital products only. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and just let us know, and yeah, we just want to make sure it's working and it works for us, works for you, and so give us your feedback.
All right, the printing is a great idea. Cheers for Sewing Workshop for offering. Wish you had it before I printed Edgewater. LOL.
Oh, that Edgewater. That's a long one.
The Edgewater had a few pieces.
Did you tape it together?
Yeah.
I apologize.
Right. So remember to, okay, wait. Can you unbutton the plum Hugo top? I'd like to see how the collar, doesn't really, it's not really a collar. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is a collar.
I mean, you wouldn't have to button it all the way up if you didn't want to.
Right.
You could leave it open a little bit.
Actually, that looks pretty nice.
So that's an option.
Okay. All right. So for those of you who had technical troubles, you can watch this.
Right. So I don't know if people are continuing to have problems, but you can watch this. This will be saved and posted on our Facebook page. It'll also be on our website and also on YouTube. So there's 3 different ways that you can watch this video.
And how are they going to be able to watch Alex?
So Alex is going to come up maybe just immediately after this. I'm not quite sure, but it's going to be after this video. She's going to do her own Facebook Live to talk about her project with Sulky and the Chateau coat in scuba. So she'll come on next, but it'll be a separate video.
Right. Okay, Jill wants to know the difference between the Chesney and the Hudson.
Okay, I always think about the difference in the hips because that's the biggest thing for me, so I go straight to that. So there is more room in the Hudson in the hips than there is in the Chesney. A little more shape there. They both have elastic going all the way around at the waistline. And the Hudson has darts at the bottom. I feel like if you didn't put the darts in, they might have a similar shape to them. But the Hudson, they have darts, 2 darts on the front and 2 darts on the back at the hemline. So that's one of the biggest design details.
So Alex just posted that she will go on right after this.
Okay, Alex, you'll see Alex right after this new video, but it'll be directly after this one.
All right.
Okay.
I think that's it. Good job, Erin.
Okay.
And
well, thank you.
Lots of good comments about the fabrics, really pretty fabrics, gorgeous fabrics. So good. Check out the Noel for either top or bottom, prints for top or bottoms.
Yep.
And check out our new printing service.
Yeah. Okay. And I know Betsy's probably posted the link to the sale. So she's that'll go to the sale page where we have everything posted, the patterns, the compendiums, the fabrics. So check that out and we'll see you next week.